Welcome back to Ecclesiastes. Remember, the second thing the speaker is concerned about is that the follower of Yahweh understands God's plan and realizes that it's pervasive. In chapters 3 through 5, he examines the futility of fatalism in the first 15 verses of chapter 3. And then in verse 16 through 4:16, he shows that deism is a dead end. In chapter 5, 1 through 8, he examines natural religion, and he sees only emptiness there. The last perspective he examines is wealth. So does wealth hold the key to the meaning and purpose of life? And he concludes that wealth is barren, bereft of real meaning and purpose. And then the speaker turns his attention to applying God's plan in 6:1 through 8:15. Look, he considers God's providence in light of day-to-day appearances in chapter 6, verse 1 through 7:15. And then he looks at God's providence in light of his character in 7:16 through 29. Then he looks at God's providence in light of good leadership, chapter 8, 1 through 15. So, are all his questions answered to his satisfaction? It seems not really. However, along the way on this hunt for the key to meaning and purpose of life, the speaker has come to understand the importance of being able to celebrate the mystery. 8:16 through 12:14. So, what's his advice? Look at 8:16 through 9:9. Don't let the mystery decrease your joy. And then beginning with 9:10, don't let the mystery dampen your passion. Beginning with 11:7, live each day accountably. Well, here we are again, 12:9 through 14. And in essence, the speaker says, if you want the key to the meaning and purpose of life, you must go to the locksmith who made the lock. Fear God. Follow his instructions. Sounds a bit like Rabbi Jesus' reply to the man in Matthew 19:17. Why do you ask me about what's good? There's only one who is good. If you would enter life, keep his commandments. Well, did you notice a refrain recurring through this whole discourse? I'd like you to look these up so that you can see them in context and tell me what you make of it. Look at 2:24. And then 3:12 and 13. Chapter 5, 18 and 19. Chapter 8, verse 15. Chapter 9, verses 7, 8, and 9. What do you make of that? So, after examining life from the perspectives of nature and philosophy and materialism, he concludes in 2:24 that there's nothing better for a person than that they should eat and drink and find enjoyment in their work. This is from the hand of God. And then after looking at life from the perspectives of fatalism and deism and natural religion and wealth, he perceives that still there's nothing better for them than to be joyful and to do good as long as they live. And that everyone should eat and drink and take pleasure in their work. This is God's gift to humanity. Now in 5:18 and 19, behold, what have I seen to be good and fitting is to eat and drink and find enjoyment in all the toil with which one toils under the sun, the few days of his life that God has given him. For this is his lot. Everyone to whom God has given wealth and possessions and power to enjoy them, and to accept his lot and to rejoice in his toil. It's a gift from God. And all through this discourse, the speaker has been giving us this advice in light of the verdict. Remember that Paul taught the Christ followers at Rome, and we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to his purpose. Well, most of us have heard that verse before, but what is the purpose? What is the goal of God's working things together for good for those who love God? Look at the next line, verse 29. For those whom he foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the image of his Son, in order that he might be the firstborn among many brothers. And to the believers at Ephesus he wrote, for we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand that we should walk in them. So to know God and to fear him and to follow him positions us to be able to eat and drink and find enjoyment in our work, because we're doing it for his honor and glory, and we're watching him at work in our lives, molding us, shaping us, conforming us to the image of his Son. Think about it. We'll see in a bit.